Here we go. Here we go. How y'all doing out there? Shalom. About to get started in a second. Shalom, Francis. Praise Ezra. Right you in here. About to get started in a second. Got a problem with this internet trying to get it started. Glad to see y'all up in the building, man. It's been a minute. Feel like Burnt Toast Tuesday seemed like that was a while back now since we done went through Feast of Tabernacles. Had some days off. But we back. We live, man. We live now. We live now. We back, y'all. They took us off the internet for a second, too. So, but hey, we here. So I have to be more careful with the things that I say about some of the things that they don't like for us to say. But today, man, as y'all see the title, we're going to break down Romans 11. And I seen an Israelite not an Israelite, I seen a Christian getting towed up with this. It was broke down to him very, very, very well. But apparently they didn't see it. I mean, he couldn't understand it. But if you read verse 11, it's literally telling you why they can't understand it. And why some of our people don't understand it. So they take the world's definition of what's going on instead of studying in the Bible. Instead of looking in the Bible and seeing it for themselves or studying, trying to get what's really going on. So what they do is take the word of the world for it. So, hey, we're going to believe God rather than man. That's what we're going to do. So with all that being said, man, let's get started, man. Like I said, it's been a long week. Body just rejuvenating from being out there at the camp. But I hope y'all had a good weekend. I know we hadn't been around for a while because we've been off air. First of all, before that, then after that, we went to the Feast of Tabernacles. All praise to the people who could make it. Those who couldn't make it, try to start now for next year. I'll start having that calendar out here in a little bit. So if y'all do need to take some time off or whatnot, then go ahead and put that in advance so that maybe you get that time next year. So who I got out there? Brother Ezra. I'm gonna put this in the link, man. I'm gonna put this I'm gonna put that in the link. Come on there with me if you don't mind. Follow the link, man. Push the link. Click the link. Brother Ezra, so I can have you read for me. But if not, I can read myself. I know Don, I think he'd be at work, so I know he'd be at work. So click the link, Ezra, if you don't mind. Yes, I need a reader. Ezra, I'll hit the link. Hit the link, Ezra, so I can have you, so I can put you on there with me. We're all praise.
Shalom.
Speak up.
Hold on. Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom. Turn your mic up. Is it? Hold on, maybe me. Go ahead and speak. Give me a test.
Test.
Okay. Yeah, that's me. That's the same thing I did last time. Didn't have the volume up. Yeah, we're gonna start. We're gonna. You see, the title is gonna be Matthew's 11. So go ahead and hold the marker right there. I mean, not Matthew. Romans 11. I might need to do Matthew too, because man, I don't know why I keep saying Matthew. I done said that about 4 times to myself. Shalom, Yaakov. All praise. Glad you're up in the building. Brother Ray up in the building. Hanah is in the building. Who we got? Adaya. Don. And yeah. My wife up in the building. All praises. We about to get started, man. But let's get started. It's Romans 11, and we're going to start breaking it down. Because a lot of times, a lot of these Christians like to go there. But I'm going to show you how they don't understand and why they won't understand. And not only that, but this in this particular verse says what this is talking about is a mystery. It's a mystery. Hold on, let me see if I can find that part right there. We'll get to it. I doubt if we're going to be able to finish this whole day because we're going to go through a lot of scriptures to break this down. We're going to go in depth on this thing. So when they come at y'all with this, man, hey, you be prepared. So get your pens out, get your notes out, get them ready, write down some stuff. Make sure you're marking in your Bibles, making sure you precepting this thing because we're going to go through it slowly and we're going to break this thing down so everybody can understand. So when you're dealing with them, because that's a look. If y'all didn't know, this is the chapter where they're talking about grafted in. Grafted in is on that, but before we even get there, before we even get to that point, it's a lot of stuff to be broken down in that chapter. So first of all, we're in Romans. So the one thing we must do, this is a letter that Paul was writing to Rome. Now, as we know, a letter to somebody, meaning to and from. It's from Paul to a certain people. Anybody picking up that letter, that would be against the law. Anybody other than the people it's for, that would be against the law. But we know Esau loved breaking laws. So the fact of the matter is, when he break laws, he don't care. And he think that makes it all good with the Most High God because he breaking all the laws. No, he break his own laws. And we are not going to let him break the Most High God laws. That's what we woke up for. So first of all, let's start out at Romans 1:7 first. Before we get any further, let's see who Paul is writing to. Who this letter is to. I know y'all wrote some letters, and especially when y'all was in them middle schools and elementary, and y'all was writing that letter, when y'all was writing it to Pam, you was writing that letter to Pam, will you go with me? Yes or no? You would not mean it. Now, if Judy picked up that letter, you're going to be mad than a mother. You're going to have to tell Judy, no, that wasn't for you, Judy. No, that was for Pam. So this letter is to a certain people. So let's read that.
The book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 7. To all that be in Rome.
To all that be in Rome. Now, as he said, everybody in Rome. That's like me saying to all that be in Texas. Now, when I'm writing a letter and sending it to a certain places, it's talking about these members of a certain people to them that's in Rome, because I got to write to Corinth, I got to write to Ephesus, I got to write to all these different places. I'm talking to the ones that's in Rome on this letter. So read.
Beloved of God. Called to be saints. Grace to you and peace from God our Father. In the Lord Yahushua Christ.
It said to all that be in Rome. beloved of God. Now, according to the Bible, the Most High has a beloved, and everybody is not a beloved. So what do? We got to find out who God's beloved is. We got to figure out, okay, who is he writing this letter to? He's giving you a clue. He's telling you straight at the top. Because the people that he's writing to already know that they Israelites. And he's giving them the beloved of God. He's telling everybody. Let's go to Baruch chapter 3, verse 6. I'm going to get 3 of them just on this alone. I told him we're gonna just break it all the way down. Go ahead.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3 and verse 36. He had found out all the way of the knowledge, and had given it unto Jacob his servant, and unto Israel his beloved.
Who?
Unto Israel his beloved.
Israel is the Most High God's beloved. Israel is the Most High God's beloved. Israel is the Most High God's beloved. Let's go over to the same book 4 and go to 14.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 14. Let them that dwell about Zion come and remember ye the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting had brought upon them.
It says to them that were in captivity, to the people of Zion, and we know those are the Israelites. He said, and the captivity, the children of Israel who was in captivity. Read.
Verse 15. For he had brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of a strange language, who neither reverence old men nor pity child, Shalakia.
Child. And then right there, I want y'all to keep an eye on that, because we're going to come back to that too, because this is that jealous nation that he brought up on us. And this is still talking about the beloved of God, which are the Israelites. And we're going to come back to that right there. Y'all, want y'all to mark that, underline it, do whatever you got to do, highlight it. But it's telling you about the children of Israel, the ones of Zion, the ones that went into captivity. Read.
Verse 16. These have carried away the dear beloved children of the widow, and left her that was alone, desolate, without daughters. But what can I help you? For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies.
He said he would deliver you from the hands of your enemies. This right here in Baruch is even talking about these are the children of Israel. It's explained right there when he's talking about that beloved that he's speaking of are the ones that was in captivity that was brought out. That's the children of Israel. Everything is going to go back to the children of Israel. Now, let's go and let's get Psalms. Now I'm going to go. That's enough. Let's get Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5, and let's get the saints. Psalm chapter 50 and verse 5. A lot of people that's in our camp should know these scriptures. They should have them already marked. I know some of y'all don't come to our classes, but the people in our class should have these marked. And they should know. These are just some scriptures that we know when you want to look up the beloved, the saints, and explain that to them, who the Most High God is talking about. So when we go to 50 and 5, what does it read?
The book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 5. gathered my saints together unto me,
Uh-huh.
those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Who made a covenant with the Most High by sacrifice? These are his saints. Gather my saints together with me. God's saints. I don't care what the mother nation saints are. Those ain't saints. They saints to them, but not to the Most High. God said his saints had made a covenant by sacrifice. Who made that covenant? The Israelites made that covenant by sacrifice. They were the only one that did it. Let's go to 148 and 14.
The book of
They
Psalms,
always try to go out of the character with Paul, man, and never just look at who's he writing it to. They just think it's all this go together. No, it's a book that's talking about a certain people, a certain nation of people throughout the book. Nobody else. And we're gonna get into that Gentile thing too. Go ahead.
the book of Psalms, chapter 148 and verse 14. He exalted the horde of his people, the
Uh-huh.
praise of all his saints,
The what?
even the praise of all his saints,
Uh-huh.
even of the children of Israel,
Uh-huh.
a people near unto him.
Go ahead.
Praise ye the Lord.
He exalted the horn of his people, not everybody else. He said, and then he said, the praises of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. So his saints are Israel, his beloved is Israel. His beloved is Israel. And not only that, the people that are near and dear unto him. This is who Paul is writing to. These are the saints. These are the beloved that Paul is speaking about when we go into before we even get started in Romans 11. That's who Paul's speaking to. So now let's go to Romans 11 and start at verse 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 1. I say then, had God cast away his people?
Have the Most High cast away his people? Because that's what some of them seem to believe. But his people did acceptance of God that rejected him. So if God rejected his children because they didn't obey the law, statutes, and commandments, then he's going to pull in these people who say you don't have to keep the commandments. What kind of God would that be? To the people that's his beloved, to the people that's his saints, to the people that he holds dear to his heart. What kind of God would that be? Wouldn't make no sense. Don't make no sense. Don't make no sense at all. Read.
God forbid.
No, he did not. Go ahead.
For I also am an Israelite
Uh-huh.
of the seed of Abraham,
Uh-huh.
of the tribe of Benjamin.
Of the tribe of Benjamin. Now, the beginning of the chapter, which is the thesis, which is where everything is programmed out. He's letting you know it's talking about Israelites from the beginning. Not only is he an Israelite, let's go to, and he's of God's people. Has God cast away his people? No, God forbid. For I am an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. He let you know, look, this is what we're speaking on. Not only is it, and he said his people. His people. Let's see who his people are. Because Yahushua is his son. Let's go to Matthew 2 and 6. Because when Yahushua was down here, and all he spoke on was the Israelite, because he's talking to his people, just like Paul is talking to his people. Just like Jeremiah is talking to his people. Just like all of them was talking to all the prophets was talking to his people. Except when it was prophesying against these other nations. Read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 2, and verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah,
Uh-huh.
are not the least among the princes of Judah.
Uh-huh.
For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
This is the Most High telling us what Yahushua is going to do. He's going to raise up a governor, Adam, and he's going to rule his people, Israel. So the Most High God's people are Israel, Yahushua's people are Israel. It would be a stupid thing for Paul to come out and say, all of a sudden, everybody's Israel. Makes no sense. And if you can't see that, we're going to get to that too, why you cannot see it. This is just the beginning. So we know who the Paul is writing to. We know who the whole. Now, when he speaks on the rest of this chapter, it's going to be talking about the same people throughout this chapter. It's not going to change. It's not going to give anything to the world. It's going to talk about the people of this world. It's going to talk about some Gentiles in one sense. It's going to talk about another Gentiles in another sense. In this same thing. But it's all going to revert back to the children of Israel. Then they say we take it out of context. No, we put it exactly in the right context. Let's go to verse 2 in Romans 11. Back to Romans 11. No, I take that back. Let's go to Jeremiah 46:28. Told you we're going to break this thing down. Tired of this, man. So I don't even like arguing with Christians no more. They done been tore up, beat up, and they still coming back. I can say one thing, they relentless, but they believe a lie so hard that they'll fight for that lie. Well, they won't fight for it. They'll come out and argue about it. They won't fight. Go ahead.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 46, in verse 28. Fear thou not, O Jacob, my servant.
Who's your servant?
O Jacob, my servant.
Uh-huh.
Said the Lord.
Now, go ahead.
For I am with thee.
Uh-huh.
For I will make a full end of all the nations whither I have driven thee.
He's going to make a full end to all the nations, the other nations where he driven us. He's going to make a full end of them. But did God cast away his people? No, he didn't. God forbid. No, he did not. But he's going to make an end to these other nations. Read.
But I will not make a full end of thee.
But I will not make a full end of us. Although he whooped us real good. He whooped us for a long time. But he's not going to make a full end of us. But he's going to do that to these other nations. Read.
But correct thee in measure.
In what?
In measure.
We get corrected by our Father in measure. We get a whooping some here. We get a whooping some there. We get some here. We get a loved one here. We get another one there. In measure. And then the whippings get depending on how bad we got as a child. If it's something small, you might pop the child on the hand. If it's something big, you pull out that switch. Depends on what they did. In measure. It's in measure. And that's another thing when the Christians be trying to say we got to be having all the curses on us at all times. That's not true. Everything that we got is in measure. Everything don't happen to us at all times. It's in measure. Measurement. No meaning he just throw them all on us every time in every captivity at all times. But we go through them curses. We done been through them already. Go ahead.
Yet will I not leave thee wholly unpunished.
He said, but I ain't gonna leave you unpunished. I'm gonna give you yours in measurements. So I'm not gonna leave you wholly unpunished. You gotta get yours. You gotta get your whooping. And that's a good thing when your father is giving you that belt. Because it's helping you. It won't have you out here being like everybody else in the world. You are now becoming like a man of the Most High God, getting corrected. And one thing about it, like when you get on that job, when people correct you, hey, you need to do this like this. You need to do it like that. Once you got it down, hey, bam, bam, you working that machine like it ain't nothing. But it took correction in order for you to get there. It's all right to be corrected. It's all right to get the understanding of the Most High God and change the way you're doing it if you're doing it wrong. And that's okay. Let's go to Psalm chapter 94. Hey, that 94 always come back up. I love that whole chapter. That Psalm 94 comes up a lot. I know when I'm reading all the time, I wind up going there a lot. 94. And let's start at verse 14.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 14. For the Lord will not cast off his people.
He will not cast them off. Because that's what a lot of Christians say. He gave up on Israel because they came to his own and his own received him not. He didn't cast them off. He didn't cast us off when he turned his back on us. It was to get us corrected. A child feels real sorry when you don't get a whooping and you get ignored. Then you be trying to find your way to get back to your father or your mother's heart because she ain't paying no attention to you. Now you need that attention. Now you'll get yourself right. Go ahead.
Neither will he forsake his inheritance.
He won't forsake his inheritance. We are the inheritance. He gave us. Oh my goodness. Let's go.
Verse 6, well, Shalaki. Verse 15. But judgment shall return unto the righteous,
Uh-huh.
and
We
all
get
the
inheritance.
upright in heart shall follow it. Huh?
But judgment shall return. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to this. Read that again.
Verse 15 from the top. But judgment shall return unto the righteous,
Uh-huh.
and all the upright in heart shall follow it.
He said, judgment shall return. If it's going to return, that means it had to go somewhere else for it to return. Keep that in mind. Mark that down. Make sure y'all put something by that. Because when you start going through 11, it's going to start covering this back up again too. Judgment shall return unto the righteousness. And David never was talking about no Edomites or no other nations being righteous. He spoke about how evil all these other people around him were. So when David's speaking this, the righteousness he's talking about is Israel. He's the king of Israel. He's not the king of everybody. Although he ruled the nations that was around him, they hated him. They wanted to kill him. He had to keep fighting to show that hey man, we ain't playing with you. When we got God, ain't nothing y'all can do. So even when David talking, he's talking about nothing but Israel. They don't want to go back to David. They keep wanting to go to Paul all the time, which they don't understand. And Paul keep reverting back to everything that's said in the Old Testament. All the Israelites who talking about who? Israel. Israel. Let's go back to Romans. Verse 2.
The book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 2. God had not cast away his people, which he foreknew.
Foreknew. Which he foreknew. He knew us before we was in the womb. He knew us before the beginning of the time. He was going to set these people as a nation unto himself. He foreknew us before we was created. You can go to what? Matthew 9 and 10. How Esau and Rebekah was born. I mean, Esau and Jacob was born. Better yet, let's go there. Let's see if he foreknew us. Let's go to Romans 9 and verse 10.
The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 10. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac.
By our father Isaac, go ahead.
For the children being not yet born,
Before foreknew, before they were even born, before he foreknew us. Read.
neither having done any good or evil,
They ain't done nothing. Neither one of them. Even that bad evil son of God, even him, he ain't done nothing bad yet. Before that, before all of it, go ahead.
that the purpose of God according to the election might
According to what?
stand.
Hold on. You got to say that word very slow. According to what?
According to the election
Election. Go ahead.
might stand.
Might stand. But according to who God selected to be the good one, and according to God selected to be the bad one. His election, the one he elected to be the good one, is Jacob. That's why he hated Esau. He foreknew us before we was in the womb. He had already gave us an identity. And every time we did, well, Abraham didn't have an identity. Yes, Abraham had an identity coming out. He was going to be the father of this people that he chose. This nation that he chose. And he is. So now let's go back. Read that again.
The book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 2 from the top. God had not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Woe ye not what the scripture said of Elias.
Hold on before we go there. Let's go to Romans, stay in Romans, and let's go to 8. Stay in Romans, because then we're going to go to 8 and 29.
The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 29. For who he did foreknew, he also did predestinate.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So like, for who he did foreknew, he also did predestinate to be comforted.
Conform.
Oh, Shalaki. To be conformed to the image of his son.
He said we were conformed to the image of the son. That's when you go to Genesis, male and female. He said male and female, he made them. He made us different than the rest of them. We are the ones conformed to the son. We were made in this image. Everybody wasn't made in this image. Y'all don't get that, but that's a whole nother subject. But y'all don't get it. That's what Genesis is talking about when they talking about. He said, if you read it, he said male and female, he made them. That's what they are. They're not real men. Men follow the Most High God's law, statutes, and commandments. So does a woman. Go ahead.
That he might be the firstborn among many brethren.
When it's talking about Yahushua, and then when you go into the Old Testament, it's talking about Yahushua there, and it's talking about Israel, which is his firstborn. And we'll get to that. We're going to get to all that. We're going to break this thing down. Go ahead.
Verse 30. Moreover, who he did predestinate, them he also called.
He's the one that he predestinated. He gave us a destiny before we was even born. He called us before we was even born. He called us before he was even created, before he created us. Read.
And who he called, them he also justified.
Who's justified? Us, Israel. This is who Paul talking about. So when y'all trying to go somewhere else with it, this is the same people Paul talking about. He's giving this all the credit to the children of Israel. Nobody else. Nobody else. And it's funny how y'all use the word as soon as you see Gentile. Yeah, there we are. We get everything y'all get. God dang it. You mean to tell me all these books before that? Look at this. Then y'all get to one and then it changed. Look how much before 11. This 11 start right here. All this for the children of Israel. Up here. This start right here. And y'all telling me from here, the rest of this changed. Taken away from Israel, and now it's given to the Gentile. Y'all gotta be out y'all mind. If that's the case, all that other stuff was a waste of writing, boy. That was a waste of writing. What we gonna learn from that if it ain't no good? If it all changed? It don't make no sense. Let's go back, keep reading. 8.
And them, you said back in Romans 11.
No, we at 8. Still at 8.
Oh, okay, come on. I'm gonna start from the top. The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 30 from the top.
No,
Moreover,
31. No. Finish 30. Yeah, go ahead.
The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 30 from the top. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called.
Uh-huh.
And who he called, them he also justified.
Uh-huh.
And who he justified, them he also glorified.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Verse 31. What shall we say then? What shall we say then? What? Shalaki. What shall we then say to these things?
Uh-huh.
If God be for us, who can be against us?
And that's what he's saying after all this. He said, man, he called us. He justified us. He raised up us above every nation. So now we got to understand and stand up and say, hey, if God be for us, after we read this, who can be against us? Who can be against us? Nobody. The only way we can fail in this world is when we don't keep the law, statutes, commandments. When we don't do what our God told us to do. Other than that, can't nobody stop us. Can't nobody stop us. Read 32. I'm going to be done with that one.
Verse 32. He that spared not his own son, but deliver him up for us all.
For us all. And that's not meaning everybody. He's talking about all of us Israelites. Because we ain't have nothing. These other nations got their gods. They got their wealth. They got their own land. They got all the resources. What do we have? Absolutely nothing. Read.
How shall he not with him also freely give us all things?
How shall he not with him also freely give us all things? If we don't, hey, look, if we don't get what the Most High God give, we ain't getting nothing. We got to come back to his law. That's our only way out. That's our only goal. That's the only way we can move around this thing. We can't get out of this mess unless we take the Most High God. And sometimes I'll be talking to my son, and he just want to do it any way but God's way. And ain't nothing, but he don't understand everything he's trying. We already tried, and it ain't helped us. It done nothing for us. Nothing for us. Let's go back to Romans 11. And start at 2 again.
The book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 2. God had not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Woe ye not, what the scripture said of Elias, how he maketh intercession to God against Israel.
Now that's something you got to go look that up. You got to figure that out. When Elijah, when he was speaking on Elijah, it's Elijah. They say Elijah, but it's talking about Elijah. And you got to go look at first of all, who was Elijah making these intercession of God against Israel, and why? What happened? And what part of Israel? So you got to go look these things up if you want to get the understanding of them. If you really want to get, let's go to 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 10. First Kings chapter 19, and we're going to start at verse 10. See, they stop right there. See, because they don't even want to go back into it and look into the Old Testament and see what's really going on. Because if they did that, they'll start getting a better understanding of who's Paul talking about. Verse 10, 19.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 19 and verse 10. And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts. For the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant.
The children of Israel have forsaken the covenant. Now, when they did that, this is talking about at this time, Elijah was over in the northern kingdom, speaking and going and prophesying to them when King Ahab, who had a wife named Jezebel, was king in Israel. Not in Judah, in Israel. She had killed the prophets. And Ahab didn't say a damn thing about it. He was simping. So that's why he killed their prophet. Elijah did. Read.
Throw down thine altars and slay thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I, am left, and they seek my life to take it away.
And they seek that after he had did that, and they done killed the prophets, she done came and killed the prophet, man, they looking for him. He's like, man, I'm the only one left. This wasn't by no other nation. This was by after the kingdom was split, another nation, which was Israel. So even then here, we're talking about Israelites. That's what Elijah is talking about. Those people, one that God had called, hey man, cut them off. Why? Those are broken branches. They broke off. Judah was the natural branch. Israel was on that same tree as a natural branch, but it broke off and became wild branches, going and following after other gods. So when we get down there, we're going to get down there. But this is what this is going into. He's giving you the whole message. See, they don't never want to hear the whole message. They want to take out what they want to hear, and then the rest of it, leave it alone. But then they say, we do that. The only reason we go and skip around because we know how the Bible goes, but we don't mind reading the whole thing. It's just sometimes we be pressed for time. We can't read the whole chapter. And half the time, they don't read the whole chapter when they're there anyway. And when they do, they don't understand it. So they just take out what was good for them. And they throw the rest of it away. Because if they read down, they cut themselves. And their thought process is done away with. It's done. It's no good. They do it all the time. Straightening up over here. Let's read. What we finished at? There was 19 and what?
10.
10. Let's go to 14.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, and verse 14. And he said, I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts, because the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, throw down thy altars, and slay thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left.
Go ahead, finish.
And they seek my life to take it away.
Go down 18.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, and verse 18. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel.
7,000. The Most High God leave a remnant. Even though he's finna bust up Israel, he left a remnant. He left Israel. That's why when you see it in 11 where he's talking against Israel and he's praising, say, God, man, kill them because of what they did. They just killed a whole lot of prophets. But the Most High God said, don't worry about it. I got you. I got 7,000 I'm going to leave with you. Read.
All the knees which have not bowed unto Baal.
Because there's some of them that's in Israel that didn't do those things. There was some of them in Israel that lived in Israel, not in Judah. I'm talking about the northern kingdom. It's some of them that was living in the northern kingdom. They wasn't bowing down to the stuff that was going on and through the king stuff. They didn't bow down to these idols. Some of them kept in mind what God's commandments were. Only thing that split, that's like right now. A lot of times it ain't like when you look over in the what you call that, in the Palestinian-Israeli war they got going on. Now, some of the stuff going on ain't just the leaders of the countries got war going on, but some of the people they ain't have nothing to do with that. But they still getting bombed. So when they was in Israel and the kingdom split, everybody wasn't with that. See, y'all thinking everybody over there. No, the Most High got a remnant over there in the northern kingdom that did not bow down. Did they speak out? We don't know. But I know they didn't bow down to no Baal because the Most High kept the remnant of them. And look how many he kept, 7,000. And you know what happened when we did with 78 people, right? We multiply. So it ain't never stopped. You got 7,000 when they can do something. So when you going into the New Testament, it's still a lot of northern kingdom still here over on that side, even though the majority of them don't go off and be taken over to Americas. See, they can't even put this together like that, man. It's crazy to me. But we'll get there. I'm not going to even say it. We're going to let the Bible speak. And finish that up. You finish
In every mouth Uh-huh. And every mouth which had not kissed him.
And see, every mouth didn't do it. So he had 7,000 that didn't bow down and kiss up to Baal and kiss up to these rebellious Israelites. Because that's what we're dealing with. We're not dealing with no other people. We're dealing with rebellious Israelites. And then why in the world would Paul even mention the scriptures if he ain't talking about Israelites? He's not quoting Edgar Allan Poe or nothing. He quoting books of his own people, about his own people, for his own people. Read. Go back. Let's go back to 11. Let's go back to 11.
The book of Romans, chapter 11. You on 2 or 3?
Let's start at 3.
The book of Romans, chapter 11, and verse 3. Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thy altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life.
Go ahead, read.
But what says the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men.
Go ahead, keep going, man.
Who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal.
Which we just read, which what Paul is quoted, which Paul is quoting about Israelites, because even the people that they was against it, Paul had prophesied against God do something against them. It was Israelites. He made intercession of God against the Israel, not Judah, against Israel, because Israel was wicked as hell at this time. Go ahead. Verse 5.
Verse 5. Even so then, at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
Through that grace period, God even had a remnant that came out of Israel that he's speaking to. This remnant is the same people that Paul is going to be teaching to. This remnant is the same people that the north southern keeper was keeping away from. These people, this election is the same one that he kept saying them a Gentile, because they was going after, they were doing Gentile things, serving other gods, serving idols. No, we're not supposed to keep company with it. It was calling them Gentiles. This is who he's talking about. This is how that goes. Let's go back to 1 King, and we're going to go to 19 and verse 4. Before we move on.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, and verse 4. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die. It said, it is enough. Now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am not better than my fathers.
Because at this time, when he did, he killed the prophets that they had. So he's feeling sorry for himself. He's feeling bad about what he did. He said, man, I'm no better than my fathers who was doing wickedness. I'm no better than them. Let's go to Romans 9 and 27. Let me see, did we finish that 5 yet? Yeah. Let's go to Romans chapter 9, verse 27.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, and verse 27. Elias also cried concerning
Isaiah, which is Isaiah.
Isaiah also cried concerning Israel. Though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved.
And even though Isaiah said this same thing, why is Paul keep referring to every? Let's go to Isaiah 10. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 22.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 10, and verse 22. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Listen. Hold on. I want y'all to catch this. Because he's referencing Isaiah. He's going back to what Isaiah wrote about the children of Israel. Now, when you read this, watch. I want y'all to be very careful with some of these words because you got to look at everything. Don't pass anything by because that's what they like to do. Read that again.
The book of the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, and verse 22 from the top. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return.
Shall return. You have to be back. You had to have been here before you can return. That means you had to have been in this, left, now you coming back. If you can't get a return flight, if you get a return ticket at the airport, you coming back to where you left. And he said that children of Israel, a remnant shall be returned back to him. Not everybody. A remnant of Israel shall return back to him. Read.
The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness.
The consumption decreed, the one that he called, gonna overflow with righteousness. That's what's going on now. Now go to 11 and verse 11 in the same book.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, and verse number 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his head against the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
Hold on, wait a minute. Start at 10. Let's start at 10. Let's get this real good. Real good.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, and verse 10. And in the day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek.
Go ahead.
And his rest shall be glorious.
He said, in this day, in that day, there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign. This is talking about Yahweh Shai himself. He's going to be a sign for the people. And what is that sign for? He's that light to the Gentiles that it's talking about. But it ain't talking about everybody in the world. Listen, read that it shall the Gentiles seek, and the rest shall be glorious. Because we're talking about the people that's going to be a remnant that's going to return back to him, meaning not everybody. So when we talk about Romans, that's why you think Paul keep coming back to these things. He's referencing, he's making a comparison with other scriptures, talking about Israel. Not once is he referring, but we don't want to go there. They don't want to go back to the Old Testament, which is talking about Israel, which is what Paul is talking about. Because if they go back to the Old Testament, they not gonna like what Paul is referring to. So they have no clue what Paul is talking about. Misunderstanding every word that comes out of that book. Where they died, Paulinians. Then they say, we don't believe in Paul. No, we believe in Paul. It's just that we understand Paul. Y'all say you believe in Paul, but you don't understand him. Period. You don't understand Paul. This is he's referring to, and it's showing us who the people he's talking about. It's not talking about any and everybody. It's only talking about Israelites. Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, and verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his head again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
Read that one more again, quick and clear.
11 from the top. And it shall come to pass, verse 11 from the top, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his head again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
In that day, now we was already talking about that remnant out of Jesse. When Yahushua comes back, he's going to take his hands a second time to recover the remnant of his people. In that day, when Yahushua comes back. So that means when Yahushua comes, he's not coming to get everybody, just like he said. I'm only here for the lost children of Israel. That's it. That's all. Nothing else. Y'all act like he lying, and then Isaiah lying. Now you saying Paul is telling the truth because you don't go and read what Paul or study what Paul is talking about. Paul told you to come back here. I didn't. Paul said, I got it from Isaiah. So when you go come back to Isaiah, he tells you what he's talking about. But y'all like to make up stuff in your own mind. Read.
Which shall be left from Assyria?
From who? Hold on. Watch this. From who?
From Assyria?
Assyria.
From Assyria?
All right, hold on. The northern kingdom went into captivity on Assyria, by the Assyrians. So when Paul is referring to this, he's talking about the northern kingdom. Go ahead.
And from Egypt.
Which we were scattered there. We still had some left. Go ahead.
And from Pathros. And from Cush. And from Elam.
Go ahead.
And from Shinar. And from Hamat.
Go ahead.
And from the islands of the sea.
Which is also saying he's going to recover us in this last day at the same thing he's talking about now. When Christ died, that's what he's got us out doing. Prophesying to these people. Look, you are a child of the Most High. You are children of Israel. You need to come back to your law, statutes, and commandments. That's why we out there doing what we're doing, because it's the same thing that was prophesied. So a lot of people understand. You don't think we're supposed to be doing it, but it doesn't matter. It's in the prophecies. You just mad because you're not living the prophecy, and you're mad at brothers out there who live in the prophecy of the Bible. It's coming to life, and it's right before your eyes, but you can't see because you're blind, because you watch Channel Zero. And that's our problem, man. That's our problem. And then he's talking about bringing them out of every place. Not everybody. He said a remnant that's in every place. Not everybody. And yes, the Assyrians, when they was in captivity, the northern kingdom was what? Called Gentiles. Because they really totally went against the Most High God. They worship everything but God. And here we are, the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom come right behind and follow after them. We're supposed to bring them back. We wound up doing the same thing they were doing. So we are all in trouble. But the Most High gave us the grace, and he bringing us back to him. He giving us time to get it right. He said, hey, you can get this right. I'm going to give you time. It's called grace. I'm going to give you time to get it right. I'm going to give you time to get this thing right. You Gentiles. You Israelite Gentiles. But he would have made that, it wouldn't have been a mystery book, boy. They'd have been mad, they'd have burnt this book. Oh, he talking about the Israelites. He ain't talking about them. He ain't talking about us. So the Most High put them in the delusional state. But at the same time, don't worry about it. Israelites to the rescue with the spirit of the Most High. We're going to give you the truth whether you like it or not, whether it's understandable, whether you're blind, whether your ears are stopped up. We're going to speak it. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go to 5, 11 and 5. No, 6. Start at 6.
The book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 6. And if by grace, then it is no more of works.
Watch, man, hold on. I want that. See, because now Paul's going into the election of the grace of the people who the Most High gave time to get back. That's what we just did in 5. We just went over to Isaiah where he was getting this from. Then we found out those were Israelites, and then those were the remnant that was scattered in all these nations. Then he's going to come back a second time and bring them back. So I hope y'all getting an understanding. Please, I hope y'all getting the edification of what's going on, man. I hope that this is helping y'all, because man, let's just read it, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to me. Now let's go to 6. Read that again.
Verse 6 from the top. And if by grace, then it is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace.
See, now, if it was by, because when we was making them sacrifices for our sin, hey, that means, hey, we didn't worry about the time that we had to get this thing right, because the sin, we just going out and sinning, and then bringing in a cow, bringing in a bullock, bringing in 2 turtle doves, and all these things that we had to make sacrifices for, then guess what? You don't need that time. You living on something that don't work. Your grace is no good. Because you're doing something he said, no, don't do that no more. I'm going to give y'all a lamb. I'm going to give you a lamb. I gave you a lamb that was sacrificed. You don't have to do that no more. We're going to make sacrifices, though. We just don't have to make a sacrifice for sin. And we can't make sacrifices because we don't have a temple. But he's telling us, hey, no, by that, you can't. Look, I'm giving you grace. You can't keep running out here sinning and bringing all these cows and stuff up here. Because it ain't doing nothing. Didn't I tell you, I'm tired of that blood. That ain't did nothing. I gave you a son. I gave my son to be sacrificed for your sins. Go ahead.
But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work.
Otherwise, the work that you're doing is no more work. You don't have to do that no more. What you got to do is just keep my laws, statutes, and commandments. Quit bringing me them goddamn them lambs and stuff. Doing them, killing my animals. Go ahead.
Verse number 7. What then?
Hold on, before we go there real quick. Let's go to Romans 4 and 4. Before we go to 7, let's go to Romans 4 and 4.
The book of Romans, chapter 4 and verse 4. Now, to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace.
But what?
But of death.
Yeah, you owe, because you had not covered. Your sins have not been covered. Your sins are still in that book. You owe, buddy. If you still trying to make sacrifices, that's to them Old Testament only, man. They be with that stupid stuff. And we're going to break some of that down too. Read.
Verse 5. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justified the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness.
He said, read that again. But to him that worketh not.
Verse 5 from the top. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justified the ungodly, his
Uh-huh.
faith is counted for righteousness.
He said, the one that's now, the one, you Gentile, if you got faith in the Most High, stop with your dang on works that you claiming. That the works that it's talking about is sacrificing. Your sins ain't being covered up because you don't have faith in what just covered your sin, and that was Yahweh died on that cross. That's why Paul is writing this letter to the Romans in Rome, to the ones that's living in Rome. Hey, y'all need to know what happened over here. That book that what Isaiah was talking about, that what Jeremiah was talking about, that what Ezekiel was talking about, that man, it happened. It went down. You don't have to do what you was doing. That ain't gonna do nothing for you. You got grace now to get this thing right, not sinning willfully and then giving up, looking for a lamb to get rid of. You got Yahweh who became your sacrifice. Now all you got to do is keep them laws. And it's a spirit behind keeping them laws now. He left the comforter. And then that spirit on us to keep us from going back to the old ways. You don't have to sit up there and keep doing this year by year. Read.
Verse 6. Even as David also described the blessedness of the man unto
That's all I
whom
need.
God.
That's all I needed on that one. Let's go to Hebrews 11 and 17.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, and verse 17. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that received the promise offered up his only begotten son.
And he that received the promise offered of his only begotten son. Just like who else did that? Same thing. Yeah, Yahweh offered of his only begotten son. Abraham did the same thing. See, they thinking Abraham just had faith. No, Abraham did something. He obeyed God's law, his commandment, when he told him to take his son. That is something that none of y'all would do. Go kill your son. He had faith in the Most High, and he was going to do what the Most High said do. So he had faith and he had works. And we're going to prove that. You got to have them both. You got to have faith that, hey, you keeping them laws, guess what? And you got faith that Yahweh died. Hey, he the sacrifice. He died for our sins. All we got to do now, keep these laws. And give our honor and have faith in Yahweh. Have faith that he is our Savior. Go ahead.
Verse, what was that? Oh, verse number 18. Of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Man, in Isaac. Where are we getting all these other folks from? Where are we getting all these? Isaac, Jacob. It's the same thing. Nothing changing. Ain't nothing changing in this Bible. Y'all try to make a change. Only way you can get your doctrine across is make the Bible change. Then when we read God don't change, y'all the first thing you do is change it. Like he's just gonna go and get these other people all of a sudden. Then you try to find him out to be a lie. You gotta make him a, but didn't God change it? You try to make him out to be a lie. God done everything perfect. Everything. He did it all. Let's go to James 2 and 19. the whole thing tonight. I'm gonna get down. Hopefully, I can get down to verse 17. We're gonna do the other one next week. But I want y'all to get this. I want y'all to really, really start getting this stuff. Because this, look, man, it goes around every cycle. It'll be coming up in a minute. Esau, not the white man. Then it comes up with, those same thing, the Gentile. It's cycle. It's recycled. It's recycled. Because the Christians done played their hand out. Only thing they can do is regurgitate their old arguments. Because they've been smashed on everything. The only thing you do is make you argue about the Bible again, about something that's already been proven that they've been wrong about. Let's go. James 2:19.
The book of St. James, chapter 2, and verse 19. Thou believest that there is one God. Thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble.
See, the devil believes the so-called white man, he knows there's one God. He trembled. These other nations know it's only one God, and they tremble. They just hoping it don't happen. It ain't happening so long that it's like, oh, man, it ain't going to be nothing happening. Esau is doing stuff like he don't exist. When we know he do. We've been spiritual with him. We always thinking the Most High. Even as ragged as we are, but we just gotta think the Most High. I don't care what we do. We always gonna say, hey, I want to first give honor to God. Even if he just wrote a whole nasty song. We got the mind of the Most High. Our mind's always thinking of God. We got the zeal of God. And a lot of us not according to knowledge. But now the knowledge is coming to you. You can receive it or not. But we're going to give it. We're going to bring it out. Read.
Like verse 19 from the top. Thou believest that there is one God. Thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble.
Hold on.
Verse 20.
Time out. Start at 8. Do 18.
Verse 18.
No, 17. Boy, I could have really ran this whole dang on part right here. Go ahead, 17.
The book of St. James, chapter 2, and verse 17. Even so, faith, if it had not works, is dead being alone.
Is what?
Is dead being alone.
And that's what they say. All you got to do is believe. All you got to do is believe. But the Bible just said, read that again.
Verse 17 from the top. Even so, faith, if it had not works, is dead, being alone.
So if all you got is faith and you ain't got no works, you're not keeping these laws, man is dead being alone. So that's a lie and a cut to every Christian out there be running their mouth about this. Y'all not reading this Bible. You not. You can't be. Not when I'm just reading this and I'm hearing what y'all be saying. There's no way you can be reading this book. I mean, you may have read a piece out of it, what's go good for you, but you ain't read this book and y'all be talking about, let's read the whole thing. You ain't read it. You just hoping something, if I come to keep going, I can pick something out, maybe go against what you just said. Stupid. Stupid. What kind of books do you read where you just hoping, here you go, you reading about little lambs, and all of a sudden, right in the middle of the book, it start talking about space giants or something. You'd be like, what the heck happened? Started talking about something that you done read half the book, and all of a sudden, right when you get to the middle of the book, it start talking about something else. You're going to be looking at the book, you ain't going to read it. You be like, man, this book's stupid. But y'all make it stupid. Y'all make it stupid. But we know it's the best thing ever happened. This book is delicious. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Yeah, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Shew me thy faith without thy works, and I
Show me
will
your
shew thee.
faith. Hold on. Show me my
Uh,
faith. Show me your faith without no works. How can you have faith if you ain't got no works? You need them both. You got to have faith that he died on that cross, so you don't have to make that sacrifice. Now you just keep the law and have faith that he did everything he's promised that he was going to do when those things happen. Read.
And I will show thee my faith by my works.
Well, you going to do what?
And I will show thee my faith by my works.
I'm going to show you my faith. I'm going to show you I believe in the Most High by my works. I'm going to show you I know what happened on the cross by my works. I'm going to show you he is sitting onto the right hand of God by my works. That's the evidence. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you I love God because I do what God say. I'm going to show you that. But y'all just run around here talking about you got this. Nothing, I got faith. All you got to do is believe. Well, that ain't what the Bible say. And that dang show ain't what Paul is saying. Read.
Thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble.
He said, I believe there's one God, and thou do as well. The devil also believed the same thing. And that's what they said. Oh, we believe in that God. No, not this one. Not the one in this Bible. But you know about it. That's why you tremble. That's why, boy, they either they walking past you, don't want you to say nothing to them, or they'll stop and listen to see what's really going on. I hope every time they stop and listen to us, I hope they go home and just slap their dog. I mean, and just slap the dog. Dog don't even know what happened. Go ahead.
But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead?
Read that one more again.
But wilt thou know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead?
It's dead. It's dead. If you got faith without works, it's dead. If you got works without faith, it's dead. Both of them. Either way it is, you got to have them both. That's what we believe. That's what Israelites believe. We got works and we got faith. We show you our faith by our works. Y'all can laugh at the fringes or thinking that's all it is, but no, that ain't the only thing we do. That's the only thing you can see. Read.
Verse 21. Was not Abraham our father justified by works?
Was not Abraham our father justified by work? Can works justify you? Yes, they can. As long as you're using with faith. Can faith justify you? Yes, it can. As long as you're using it with your works. But if you think that's all you're going to be justified by just your faith, we just read you can't. See, that's when y'all totally get thrown off. Because y'all don't read that part. You won't come back to this part. You will not read this part. Talking about Abraham too. He was justified by his work. But you only read the one where he had faith. But you don't want to read where he had the works. Read.
When he had offered Isaac his son upon the altar.
No, and think about that. Think about that faith that you got to have to offer your son up on the altar. First, you had to be obedient. You had to have works. You had to go do something. You had to go get him, get the stuff to tie him down, and you finna kill him. But you got to have faith that the Most High, hey, the Most High told him to do it. So hopefully, hey, he got something for me, but I'm going to do what I got to do. I got to put in this work. Read.
Verse 22. Seest thou how faith wrought with his works?
Uh-huh.
And by works was faith made, and by work was faith made perfect?
See, that's why y'all missing, and you can't get perfection. That's why y'all say you can't be perfect. Yes, you can. When you got the faith in your house, and you keeping this commandment. By that, that's what make you perfect. So when y'all saying we can't be perfect, just speak for yourself. We know what it means to be perfect, according to the Most High God. I don't give a damn what the white man always be trying to tell you can't be perfect. Let me ask you something. The 72 Miami Dolphins, they went undefeated. The only team ever to go undefeated in the NFL. Now, let me ask you, did they do everything perfect when they won all them games? No, they almost lost some. They threw some interceptions. They fumbled the ball. They didn't get all the first down. They had to punt. They had to get over there. Somebody got kicked out of the game. All of these things happen. But at the end of the day, they stayed to putting in the work. And guess what? They had faith that they was going to win, and they wound up perfect, the only team. Then y'all say you can't be perfect. You don't have to do everything without no mistakes to be perfect. You just got to keep focused. And to be perfect with the Most High God, keep focused on these laws and have faith in Yahweh Shah. Therefore, you can be perfect. Your works with them faiths will make your works will make your faith perfect. I didn't say it's in the Bible. Go ahead.
Verse 23, and the scripture was fulfilled, which said, Abraham believed God, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness.
He believed, and that was made him righteous. Go ahead.
And he was called the friend of God.
He was called the friend of God. Go ahead.
Ye see then how that by works a man is justified.
Go ahead.
And not by faith only.
Because Abraham had faith and he had works. He had them both. So for y'all to even come out and say those things that y'all be saying, it's totally wrong and it's against the Bible. So it's totally wrong and it's against the Bible. And man, I had to read a lot of that because I know they don't read it. I know they don't read it. Let's go back to Romans and start at 7. Thank you. Thanks, so appreciate it. That's good. What is that? Man.
The book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 7. What then? Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election had obtained it, and the rest were blinded.
And see, that's why when y'all listen. When you read chapter 11, that's why they can't see it. The election of his chosen people, that remnant that he chose, they can see it. That's why we got a job to do. You got to go do those miracles now. Remember, Yahweh, you're going to do greater miracles than I did. Ooh. Because Yahweh was dealing with the people who knew who they were. Paul had to go deal with people who didn't know who they were. Paul had to go with people who believed in the system of those other nations. The same way we do. We got to go build, we got to go believe, we got to go deliver these people out of a system that's embedded in them. They just got it. We've been at it for boy. And boy, we got a boy. Man, when you bring somebody when you bring them back to the Most High, boy, that's a miracle. When you go out and teach somebody about this Bible and teach them who they are, and they take that, believe it, and start coming back to these laws and start doing them, that's a miracle. You just woke up a dead body. If y'all think he ain't doing nothing. He said, you're going to do things greater than this. He was telling the disciples that. But see, y'all think it was just for the disciples. Y'all doing it when you're going out and you teaching people this truth. When you're going out and teaching your family, and you can get your child from going out them streets and get out them games and come back to these laws, man, you just performed a miracle. See, you better than who you greater than who you think you are. See, y'all don't even know how great you are. Most High put that in you. He said, we one with him. He in the Most High. He's in us. We one with him. So what is it you can't do? What is it you crying about? Read.
Verse 8. According as
Hold
it
on,
is
wait a minute. Let's go to Romans 9:31 right quick.
the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 31. But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, had not attained the law of righteousness.
Hold on, Israel. This it says, because I know some people read that and be confused. What about that? What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what that means. But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, had not obtained the law of righteousness. Although they was following out the law, they never did understand that the sinning has to stop. They never obtained the law of righteousness. Now is that time. Because all they was doing was just going and sinning, and what you call it, sacrifice. Sinning, sacrifice. Sinning, sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Ain't that what the Bible say? Read.
Verse 32. Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith.
They didn't seek it by faith. They was keeping the law. But they didn't have no faith. They didn't have faith in Yahweh Shah. They didn't have faith in the scriptures because the scriptures was telling them what was going to be coming. That's something that they should have been looking for. Like the wise man was looking for this sign. John was looking for this sign. They was following the law, but they weren't seeking what was coming after. Now, there's something that was going to be coming that's great. I bet you was a lot of broke Israelites. Because, you know, cattle was money. And if you're doing a lot of sinning, boy, that means you have to do a whole lot of sacrificing. You broke like a mug every year. What you got left, man? I got a worm, man. That's all I got left. I sold all my cows last year. I sold all my sheep year before that. I sold all my goats. I had to go sacrifice all that, man. I was out there bad, man. All I got left is a worm, man. I dug him out of the ground the other day. I just got off this woman, man. I'm going to take this and hope he accept this worm. That's what they do. Go ahead.
But as it were written by the works of the law, for they stumbled at the stumbling stone.
What? Read that again.
For they stumbled at the stumbling stone.
Read.
Verse 33. As it is written, behold, I lay in Zion a stumbling stone, in a rock of offense. Shalak.
In a rock of offense, go ahead.
And whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed.
That stumbling stone, what got a lot of people confused at this time, because they didn't understand that Yahweh was here. That's why the people didn't receive him, and that was made for that. It was made of a stumbling stone because those leaders couldn't see him, because they was wicked as hell anyway. But the people did. They followed. The other Israelites. I take that back, because you say people, y'all think I'm talking about everybody. And I'm not. Read.
You want 10 and what?
Did you? Now let's go to John chapter 12. St. John chapter 12.
Uh-huh.
I want to start at 30.
Verse 3.
Huh?
You said what?
St. John chapter 12 and verse 38.
Oh, okay, cool. The book of St. John, chapter 12 and verse 38, that the saying of Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Lord, who had believed our report,
Uh-huh.
and who had the orb of the Lord been revealed.
And who? Go ahead.
Verse 39. But therefore they could not believe, because that Isaiah said again,
Uh-huh.
he had blinded their eyes and
Uh-huh.
hardened their heart,
Uh-huh.
that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart,
Go ahead.
and be converted, and I should heal them,
And who should heal them?
and I should heal them.
He said that he blinded them. So a lot of them can't see. So that's why we got to go to the four corners of the earth and preach this gospel, so he can heal them. See, that's the same thing. The Most High set everything up so he can get this glory. When he spoke to the Pharaoh, the furs got there. As soon as that first plague hit them, Pharaoh was ready to get them Negroes up. Man, y'all gone, man. God dang it, get out of here. God hardened his heart. If it was up to Pharaoh, boy, Negroes, day one, y'all have been gone. Most I said, no, I'm gonna get the glory out there. Because if I let y'all, if Pharaoh jump up and let y'all go, y'all gonna be praising Pharaoh instead of me. Read, where do we stop at?
Verse 40.
Yeah, that's all I needed on that. Let's go to Isaiah 53:1. Because it's funny how Yahweh Shai is quoting Isaiah. And guess who else? Paul was quoting Isaiah. All of them quoting Isaiah, man. And Isaiah talking about the Israelites. Let's go. Isaiah 53:1. Because y'all should know what it's going into. Isaiah at this time was prophesying nothing but about Yahweh at this time. And for you talking about Yahweh ain't in the Old Testament. Yes, he is. All over the book. That's because you're blind. And you can't see. You need to wear some glasses like DMC. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 53, and verse 1. Who had believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord, the arm of the Lord revealed?
Who have believed our report? Boy, we barely getting some, but I thank the Most High for the one that's coming in. Who believed our report? This is what Yahweh Shai was quoting from. When he said Isaiah, who believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? Who? Then when you read down on that 53, it'll explain who. But we're going to go back. No, we're going to go to 1 Corinthians. And we're going to start at 3 and 13.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3, and verse 13. Every man's work shall be made manifest.
Everything that you're doing, all your work's going to be made, it's going to be seen. Go ahead.
For the day shall declare it.
Uh-huh.
Because it shall be revealed by fire.
Uh-huh. Because it's gonna see if it's real or not. It's gonna be revealed by fire. With all that old fake stuff gonna be thrown away, burnt off. Go ahead.
And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is.
When what sort it is. If it ain't gold, it's burning off. Most High looking for a pure heart, a pure mind. That's why he gave us this grace to start cleaning up that stuff, boy. Get tried in that fire. You might be a gold nugget, but boy, at the end of the day, when that fire done hit you, and all you got left is that little bitty gold nugget, at least that's all. Hey, man, you got some gold. But if everything burn off, that means wasn't nothing real. Wasn't nothing real. Read.
Verse 14. If any man's work abide, which he had built thereupon, he shall receive a reward.
If what you got left, hey, if it's a little piece left, and you done got rid of everything, and all you got is you just left this little tiny piece of gold, at least you're gold, and you're pure. Because the rest of that stuff couldn't get in the kingdom anyway. You got a little left of yourself that you can at least walk in the kingdom, man. But you got to burn all that other stuff off. You got to get off all that other nasty stuff that you had on you. And the Most High giving you this grace and this time to get those things right. And everybody grace is a different kind. Read.
Verse 15. If any man work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss.
Yeah, if any of your work shall be burned, you shall suffer loss. And man, if you putting in there, you claiming this, that's your work, and you ain't really did, it's gonna be burnt off. You're gonna suffer loss. You got to get to something pure. You got to lose all that other stuff that you can't bring that with you. Go ahead.
Shalaki.
Verse 15.
But he himself shall be saved, yet so is by fire.
So it's by fire. Man, I don't give a dang. We got to burn off everything that you got. You finna be tried. Like I said, some of you might be a pebble when you get in that kingdom. But guess what? You're going to be, hey, you're pure. You're a pure pebble. You at least get, man, I walk in that something going like that hand on that Adam family, nigga. I'm in here. That's all I got in there. That's all I had left. But I made it in there. Some of you, hey, you got to go through that fire, and a lot of stuff got to be burnt off of that fire. You just better hope when it's finished, you got something left. And then everything ain't fake that was on it. You're a hypocrite. Man, that's deep, man. That's deep. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Know ye not.
That's all I needed. Let's go to back to Romans chapter 8.
Chapter 8.
Yeah.
We read that what is that?
We read to 7.
8
11 and 8. Romans 11 and 8.
The book of Romans, chapter 11, and verse 8. According as it is written, God had not given them the spirit. God had given them the spirit of slumber.
Who gave it to them?
God had given them the spirit of slumber.
He gave them the spirit of slumber. The Most High God gave them the spirit of slumber. He gave them the spirit of slumber. Let's go to Isaiah 29 and 10.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 10. For the Lord had poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep.
That's what our people went to a deep sleep, man. During our time while we was in slavery, we went into a period of deep sleep. Go ahead.
It had closed your eyes.
Uh-huh.
The prophets and your rulers, the seers, have he covered.
He covered all of us, man. All the ones that's out prophesying on the street, your eyes were covered up. That's why the Most High, he put us in a deep sleep until he awakened us. And now we up. Now who done let the bruise in the door? Go ahead.
Verse 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed.
And the vision of the rest of them are coming unto them as it came as a book that's sealed. Dang it, man. I wonder what's in that book. And that's how people look at this Bible. I wonder what's in it. It's like it's sealed to them. It's like I can't read. I can't hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because when you try to bring it out, they running from that book. I can't see. I can't see. Go ahead.
Which men delivered to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed.
He said, and that's what they do. They give excuses. Read this. Hear this. Listen to this. Okay, man. That's sealed, ain't it? Go ahead.
And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned.
I don't even know how to read, man. He said, I don't even know how to read. That's what I don't even know how to read. Coming up with more excuses. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Wherefore, Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me.
They always claiming that they know God, they got a special relationship. Boy, that's funny. Cause it don't never nowhere in there say you gotta have a special relationship. But they believe it and say it constantly. But the part where it says keep the commandment, oh no. I can't even read. It's sealed. But I got a relationship though. Read, man.
And their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men.
Of who?
Of men.
Instead of opening and giving it every excuse in the book to even go in here and see what we be talking about when you're going against us like that. That's like that. What's the name? Nun. I forgot that lady name. Some nun. They be on our pages on the videos talking about she don't follow us, but yeah, she on every video comment. She can't stand me. She said, I just talk like that. Oh, well, I wish you came out there when I'm out there. Miss None. None of your damn business. And that's what your problem is. Y'all don't want to see what the Most High God is talking about, so you can't do nothing but talk and go against. I forget them. They don't know what they're doing. They don't, man, we know exactly what we're doing. Go ahead. Now, that's all I needed on that one. That's all I needed on that. Let's go back here and go to verse 9. I'm gonna leave y'all alone in a minute. Because I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go in like we're gonna stop. Let's see how far I'm gonna go. Because we're gonna pick this up. Definitely next burnt toast too. We definitely gonna pick that up. We're gonna burn this toast. Hope we got some bread left when we done. Go ahead.
The book of Romans chapter 11.
You got on your side?
Say that one more time. You lagging.
I'm hearing an echo.
An echo?
Yeah.
Oh, nah.
Hey, shut that door. You got that YouTube on in there? I'm hearing an echo. So. Hello?
You still hear it?
Yeah, I hear it. Maybe on my side. I'm not sure. never mind. I'm almost
Is it still there?
Nah, ain't now. Yeah, that was some on your side.
Yeah, it's probably the headphones on. Shalaki.
Okay. No, you good. It wasn't that bad, but I just heard it. It just took a while for it to get on my nerve. Let's go. Verse 9. No, I don't hear it no more.
Okay. The book of Romans, chapter 11 and verse 9. And David said, let the table be made a snare, in a trap,
Uh-huh.
in
Uh-huh.
a stumbling block,
Uh-huh. We already spoke on that, who that stumbling block was. Go ahead.
and a recompense unto them.
And repay them. And repay them. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their back always.
Uh-huh. Let's go to Psalms chapter 69, verse 22.
The book of Psalms, chapter 69 and verse 22. Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have Shalaki, and that which shall have been for their welfare, let it become a trap.
Let it become a what?
Let it become a trap.
Keep reading. Just keep going. I'm going to show you this. I love this. Go all the way down to 35. Go ahead.
Come, let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their lords continually to shake.
Uh-huh.
Pour out thy indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take hold of them.
This is what Paul was referring to. This is where he got this from. But see, they was genius enough to be able to use this and be talking about our enemy, then take it and say it again and be talking about Israel. But you got to look at it and see the context of it and what he was doing. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents.
Uh-huh.
For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded.
And we got to ask yourself again, is Paul talking about these other nations, our enemies, which were all these other nations? This is David. Paul is going back and referring to this. Why? If he's talking about everybody. If everybody can be saved, why is Paul coming back and talking about the demise of our enemies? Because y'all won't even go in the Old Testament to figure out what Paul is talking about. You just take it verbatim, no studying. But he said it, I can't understand that. That's because you ain't never studied. You can't see. Even in that verse 11, it said they blind, they can't see. Read.
Verse 27.
This verse to tell you can't. So a lot of times when you can't get it to people, sometimes y'all spend too much time with, and I'm talking about Israelites. We don't sometimes read what it says. Because a lot of times we be getting mad and upset because some people don't get this truth. That's because sometimes they blind, they can't see. All you do is give them the word. Plant a seed. Let somebody else come and water it. Y'all trying to do all the work. You can't all the time. He blinded them. Go ahead.
Verse 27. Add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come into thy righteousness.
Let them what?
And let them not come into thy righteousness.
Don't let them come in. Paul getting this? How come y'all don't get what Paul just said? Don't let them come. But here y'all want to invite everybody in though. Go ahead.
Verse 28. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living,
Let them
and
what?
not be let them be blotted out of the book of the living.
And this talking about Esau, our enemy. Let them be blotted out. This what Paul quoted. But I guess y'all didn't take the time to go see what he was talking about. You just said, well, I don't need to know that part. I don't need to know that part. Brother, we're going to go to, give me a law, Ezra.
Shit, I was just reading this one earlier, matter of fact.
Yeah, I can go
Uh,
before you get there. Where do we
huh?
stop at?
Verse 28.
Don't worry about it. I know what to do. Give me a law.
You talking about Romans chapter 9? I mean, Romans
No,
11 and 9.
I'm about on that Psalms because I was going to go all the way to 35. Like I said, some of them, boy, your buck, you just keep reading, boy, really get to. But I was just going with it. Where I really was trying to get at was that where Paul is quoting this stuff from, if they just take the time to go see what Paul is quoting to get an understanding what Paul is comparing these things to, they'll understand the scriptures a lot better, but they don't, and they won't, because it's going to go against everything that they believe. But you got a law? Give me one.
If you want to,
Yeah, give me something. Give me a law. That's all I'm asking.
the book of Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 1.
There you go. Read that one. Hold on, y'all. He said Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1. That's going to be the law, and that's going to be the one I'm going to close with. Remember, mark your book. I'm going to come back to, we're going to start again at verse 10 of next week is where we're going to start. So mark that. We don't went down to, we just went to 10. I told you I'm long-winded. I pulled a lot of precepts on this stuff, and I love going through them, and I get excited. I'm sorry. That's just how I do my thing. I can't change for you. I get compassionate about some of this sometimes. I get fired up about it, especially when I'm hearing that word just, ooh, man, just saying something. This word be cutting me, cutting you, cutting everybody around us, boy. If it's not doing it, you ain't in the truth. Go ahead.
The book
You
of
said
Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy 1.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 1. Therefore, thou shalt love the Lord thy God and keep his charge, in his statutes, in his judgments, in his commandments, always.
Always. Man, we had that word earlier. Always. But like I said, that's a good one right there. He said you got to love the Most High God with all your heart, with all your mind. That's one thing that was in the 10 Commandments. Where they got that from. And keep his charge and his statutes and his judgment and his commandments. Same thing like King David was telling King Solomon. They was teaching him everything right here. That same saying he was doing. This how you be a man. Y'all quit talking about you a man. You might be a male, but that don't make you a man. You might be a female, but that don't make you a woman. You need to be keeping these laws, statutes, commandments. And on that note, I'm going to say shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Appreciate you out.
Sound good, man.